Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for January 13th. I'm actually recording this on Tuesday late afternoon, my time here in Alberta. Um, so like I'm sure most of you, have been watching the news, and frankly, it gets more depressing and more distressing. It brings, with great clarity, a sort of comprehension about exactly how not only violent were the riots and rioters were, but it brings into focus the extreme anger and divisiveness and that Trump was able to ramp up and get those supporters of his to do what he wanted. You know, I was thinking in the last day or two about Michael Cohen when he testified um, on the Hill, like whenever it was last year sometimes. And he said, you know, Donald Trump speaks in a code, and if you understand the code. And of course, that's exactly what he does. And we have all now been witness to it for a long time. You know, he makes these sort of statements that you think are ambiguous, like, oh, it's creating a lot of anger. And then you actually realize that what he's saying is get more angry. So it's been sort of eye-opening. And frankly, it's scary. So I wanted to address some of that today. I wanted to get as much information and guidance as I could. And so I have both my pendulum and my cards. I'm going to start with my pendulum. I think when I get to my cards, literally the question is going to be a very broad, what do we need to know? You know, tell us what's most vital and important for us to know and understand at this time. But let's work with the pendulum for a few minutes and just see if we can get some broad sweeping answers, perhaps, so we have a bit of a direction to go in. Okay. So, new subscribers, thank you so much for joining us here at Soulprint. You're welcome to our family. We're a great little community, and we're always delighted and ready to welcome new people. So thank you for joining. For those of you who maybe have not seen this pendulum before, it works very quickly. It is very in sync with my energy. When the pendulum goes back and forth like that, it happens usually at the beginning of a reading, and it tells me that it's ready to communicate. Pendulum, please show me yes. And you can see it's going back and forth. Pendulum, show me no. And you can see how it transitioned to that circular motion. Once in a blue moon, the pendulum will go virtually still like it has right now. And when that happens, it's usually indicative of an answer that it can't be given. It's unknown. Or sometimes it's just that it can't be told, like for whatever reason. The answer can't be given. And I also, of course, want to remind everybody that both the cards and the pendulum read the energies of the moment. And when things are as high energy and as high toxic as they are right now, the answer may be accurate for the moment, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be accurate in 24 hours. So here we go. Let's start with sort of the pressing basics. Is Joe Biden and his family going to be kept safe from now to the inauguration and past that? Okay, so that's a pretty strong yes. Okay, pendulum. Same question, Kamala Harris. Is her and her family going to be completely safe, physically safe, from now through the inauguration and past? And that is also a yes. Are the actual plans for the inauguration going to continue to shift and change as there is sort of a greater need for things to become more and more secure? Yeah. And this is the thing, right? There is an idea, an attitude, an opinion, a view that says, we cannot let these people cow us. And we need to be doing this exactly the way we've done it, out in public. And there's this other fraction saying, yeah, except, the very people who are supposed to be securing this are still under Donald Trump's umbrella as this planning stages go through. Is that really smart to trust that everything will be properly secured? And it feels like there's sort of a bit of a tug of war going on back and forth, but it definitely looks like, even based on what is in place now, let's just ask, are the security arrangements going to get even tighter going forward? And that's a yes. Is Donald Trump going to be in Washington on January 20th? Is he going to be anywhere at all in the District of Columbia? No. A little while ago, I was given the impression that Donald Trump would probably be leaving the White House somewhere around the 15th. So literally in a couple of days from now, this Friday. Is that still accurate? Okay, so now that has now shifted. Is Donald Trump going to be in Washington on the 19th? Is he still going to be in Washington on the 19th of January? No. Is Donald Trump going to remain in Washington because he has expectations about the riots that are being sort of scheduled in every state capital for the 17th? Is that part of the reason that he's hanging in Washington? Yeah. Donald Trump will be impeached? Yes. Okay. Is Mike Pence going to assume the presidency even for a short period of time? No. Is Donald Trump going to pardon himself? Yep, he's sure going to try. What a fool. What a fool. Is it possible that some Republicans, some of the more traditionalist Republicans, may very well join the vote to impeach simply as a way of ridding the Republican Party from Donald Trump? Looks like that could very well happen. And while Donald Trump will probably not be removed from office because he will be gone, is that next vote going to take place in terms of him ever holding public office again? Yes. And will that vote pass to ensure he never holds public office again? Yes. Has Mike Pence figured out that his loyalty to Donald Trump was frankly ill-served? But yet he remains too scared to invoke the 25th Amendment? Yeah, there you have it. Okay, so let's take a look and see if we can get some clarity, some insight on what we can anticipate. I am sort of attempting to focus my direction on the planned riots, armed riots no less, for the 17th. Let's take a look and see if we can figure out what that looks like and frankly where some of the trouble's going to come from. come on down. I have a question. Okay, so important need to know, important need to know, important need to know. Here we go. Okay. So Deutsche Bank, and I think there was a bank, I think it's called Simplistic or something like that. They have both now pulled away, and they say they are no longer interested in doing any business with Donald Trump Organization, or the family. He's bleeding support. Okay, the only people who are going to be left are kind of the extreme radicals, and that might include the Jim Jordans of the world, okay? But those people who really are so in a fog, are so power hungry, or are so trying to make a name for themselves or initiate themselves somehow into good graces, I don't know, anyways, they are really the only ones that are hanging on. Donald Trump is losing support all over the place. And frankly, as are the Republicans. You have all these big corporations losing support. The whole Twitter, Facebook, all of that have pulled the accounts and silenced him. But I can't help but wonder, now that Deutsche Bank has made sort of such a big deal about severing ties, exactly how long it's going to take after Joe Biden is sworn in as president for Deutsche Bank to call in the loans. And there is the realization that, honestly, when that happens, the family fortunes, such as they are about to be significantly hit and depleted. So, and of course, that's going to go into a lawsuit and yak. But the reality is, the blow will have already taken place as soon as Deutsche Bank says, we're calling in all our loans. There's going to be a lot of news that Donald Trump doesn't want to hear. In between now, so you're seeing this on Wednesday morning, so between now and a week from now, there's going to be stuff going on that he doesn't want to hear. He's going to become more stubborn, more obstinate, more angry. And as he does that, we know from experience that he becomes more and more vengeful. And so that is where, behind the scenes, you're actually going to see even Mike Pence, who I think is about as spineless as a jellyfish, even he is going to do what he can to step in and make sure that he is sort of the one authorizing anything that needs to be authorized in terms of emergency security responses, deploying forces, whatever has not already been done and is not already in place. But there really is going to be more of the lashing out. And, in some ways, thank you, God, for small miracles, because his voice has been silenced in a lot of ways. We're not going to actually have to listen to a lot of it. A lot of it's going to be going on behind the scenes, but you are going to be getting reports of extreme volatility, extreme anger. And that, of course, is, as hard as it is to believe, it actually feels like an escalation from what's going on now. So there's that. There is a lot of worry. Oh my Lord, there is a lot of anxiety. There is so much concern about how to keep things secure, whether that is at a state level or a federal level. Those officials who are in charge are so overwhelmed with the magnitude of the riot and what that was all about and all the tentacles that came from that. And like I say, as I've said this before, I believe, as the days and weeks and months and months and months going forward unfold, it is one of those situations where this is not going to become numbed. Even after the inauguration, the attack on Capitol Hill is not going to take a back page for a very, very long time. And certainly in the short term, as more and more information comes out about, frankly, not only the lack of defense, but the abdication and dereliction of duties of some of these agencies or people, there is going to be more focus on it and more focus, and there's going to be a stronger demand for more answers, for reforms, for things to get sorted out so this kind of nonsense doesn't happen again. But there is a lot that's going on behind the scenes, but I have to tell you, it feels in this moment that nobody can say with any assurance that what they're doing is going to be enough. Because don't forget, some of those agencies are in fact very busy with everything else they're doing. They're also trying to figure out who the bad apples are within their ranks and ensuring that those bad apples, are removed, are sidelined. So they feel like, these agencies feel like they're doing everything that they can in this moment, but they will continue to ramp up because it almost feels like almost nothing they do is going to make people feel completely safe and secure. Now, Temperance has showed up, and the Hermit has showed up. And so this is a reminder that individually, you want to reach in and find that place where you at least do not let the anxiety and the worry cripple you. That you reach in and you find your faith, your trust, your hope. Because there is a tremendous, tremendous need for there to be a balancing of energy so that there isn't this feeding into the rage, okay? And there's a very big difference between being a little bit angry and being disappointed and demanding answers to the kind of rage that you see being displayed by those rioters. So they're to the best of everyone's ability, it's important that they try to get to a place where they're hanging on to at least something that is more light-filled, okay? And I'm just going to remind people that on the Soulprint Positive Energy Circle video that was released this past Sunday, it gets released on both channels, the Insight channel and the Intuitive channel. We did a circle of protection for the Capitol Hill, for the White House, and then for state houses, okay? So please, if you haven't done that, please feel free. And for those of you who maybe are not aware or have forgotten, when you do those meditations, it doesn't matter when you do them because your energy will join up with like energy and that magnifies it and amplifies it. And so I do encourage anybody who's trying to find some sense of balance to perhaps consider taking a look at that positive energy circle that was done for protection because it will offer you at least a feeling that you're doing something proactive to try to, I don't know, stem the crazy. Okay. Now, so while it is probably cold comfort to most of you in this moment where it feels as if the democracy of your country and the balance of sanity is in a very precarious position, this is very clearly a reminder that the Trump family, who, even if they didn't, they believed their own press clippings enough to believe they had it all, who were very good at faking the illusion that they had it all, their fortunes have completely started to reverse. There's going to be absolutely no coming back from this. And they really are going to be left out in the cold. They are going to be shunned. They are going to be ignored. They are going to be blacklisted, frankly, as are a lot of people within the Republican Party who have not pulled back and spoken against the violence. Those that are still trying to preach this ridiculous narrative, that they also are going to be in a position where going forward, they are going to be in a very, very uncomfortable position. Energetically, I can tell you that I'm being told that Josh Hawley is going to be he's going to leave. I don't know if he's going to be removed. Certainly he's going to probably be stripped of whatever committees, et cetera, that he's a part of. But he is not going to hold on to that seat of his. Ted Cruz, he's another one. Very, very difficult place for him to be in. And there are a few others. So some of them from the House are also going to be having some very, very bumpy rides. Jim Jordan and Nunes and like that. Some of them also, as long as they continue preaching in ways that support the rioters' beliefs, which of course we all know are absolutely garbage, they too, as things unfold and more becomes known, they really too are also going to be in the hot seat. I have to tell you, it feels very much like this, not only this past riot, but the ones that are anticipated to come. Some of the people who are in the planning stages, some of the people who are involved actually go fairly high up in the government. And ultimately, they are going to be found out. And the thing is, there is not going to be a Republican-friendly Department of Justice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so many of these people could really, really find themselves in significant trouble. And it is as a result of them holding fast to a narrative that they know is complete, utter lies and nonsense, and they will not let go because they are addicted to trying to strengthen their position of power, their political careers. And for reasons that you and me, the logical ones, can't quite figure out, every one of these people individually really believes that they're the ones who are going to get away with it. They're the ones who are not going to get caught. They're the ones who Trump is going to continue to protect. So listen, emotions are going to be very, very high for the next week. This weekend, it really does feel like there's going to be increased volatility. And, there are some places where it's going to be more pronounced than others. Georgia, people in Georgia, please stay safe. It does not feel like a safe environment. It feels like there could be some significant demonstrations, the capital of Georgia. And by the way, for those of you who corrected me and let me know that Representative Claiborne is from North Carolina, thank you. As a Canadian, sometimes I really do tend to smush some of those southern states together. It's hard for me to pull them apart because I haven't visited any of them. And I hope, honestly, I really do hope to be able to do that in the future. While Trump was in office, I always said that there was no way even before the COVID thing, I always said there was absolutely no way I could travel to the United States because if anybody put me together with Soulprint Intuitive Tarot, I would have trouble crossing the border. So, I'm hoping maybe as COVID dies down, maybe I'll actually get to some of those southern states because I have always really wanted to see them. I've been to Florida and California, but some of those other southern states I've not had the opportunity to travel in. So much for a digression there. Okay, so emotions are going to be ramped up. They're going to be high. And there is going to be rioting. There is going to be problems. The thing is, and this is what Spirit would really, really like you to just remember, that even though the tech companies have not silenced them permanently, they have definitely put a hitch in their get along, okay? And so communications are not flowing as smoothly between, groups and members of groups and that. And a lot of the people, okay, so this is the thing, right? You can break the rioters and the people who attended the rally, the protest, into three sort of categories, loosely speaking. There are those who attended the rally just because they see themselves as good Republicans, or maybe they were curious, or maybe they were looking for the entertainment value. Maybe they were even thinking that they were somehow taking part in some historic event, and that would include, oh my God, what is his name? Judge Clarence. You all know who I'm talking about, the Supreme Court. His wife apparently was at that rally. And, she apparently left before things got nasty. But what's that about? Anyways, so there were that group of people who were just sort of there to see, to whatever, right? Then there were the group of people who were angry, and that's why they were there. And they wanted to be surrounded by other people who were angry. They knew it would ramp up their rage. And, there's like adrenaline rushes that come from that stuff. There really are, chemical shifts that go on in the body when that kind of stuff is happening. And there were people there who wanted to know, by being surrounded by others, that their rage was valid. Okay? And the last group are flat out malicious. Those are people who went in with an agenda to maim, kill, kidnap, destroy. Okay? There's separate categories. One of the things that I think that you're going to see over this weekend, going forward, is that the look-sees, right? They're not going to be there. They've gotten good and scared, and they are not going to be hanging out at those protests and rallies and riots, because that's in fact what they are. So in some ways, there's going to be diminished numbers. The problem is that those that are there, frankly, are that much more dangerous and that much more intent on their missions. Okay? Also, people of Michigan, you need to be very, very careful. I'm trying to see if I'm just getting some states that are specifically popping into my head. As they do, as I continue this, if any more come up, I'll just spit them out there so that you know. Places that, obviously the 6 states where they were contesting the votes, those state capitals are going to be sort of the ones that need to be the most careful. But certainly Georgia and Pennsylvania, Michigan, they are the ones that really, really put a bug up Trump's butt. And so those are the ones that have to be especially careful. And even though it doesn't seem like it right now and right in the moment, this is going to diminish over time. When the alphabet agencies, okay, FBI, all of them, when they start coming after people in greater and greater numbers, I mean, yesterday afternoon, they finally did some sort of a press conference, but they did it with sort of people a little bit lower, that the highest ranking officials of the agencies were not there. But that's going to pick up momentum and momentum. And as that happens, you're going to find the people who were not kind of literally on a political mission, and the missions aren't even political. They are just about destroying the government. That's the mission. Those people are going to become more and more targeted, and a lot of them are going to have some significant legal problems and incarceration, and it's not going to be pleasant for them. But a lot of the kind of like kinetic, the kind of crazy energy that's around this, it's going to dissipate as Trump becomes more and more silenced. And, anybody who thinks that Trump is going to, try to create this whole big brouhaha after he leaves office and it's not going to happen, people. He doesn't care. They have served their purpose. He got all the money he could ever want to get from that group of people who believed his pack of lies. Now, let me tell you, he is only focused on himself and saving his butt. He is only focused on protecting whatever money he can, and he is completely focused on trying to figure out how to escape and dodge these the charges that are coming after him and the financial problems that are coming after him, and frankly, some of the legal charges that are going to come after him. And he's going to get charged with specific crimes connected to what happened on Capitol Hill. I don't know when. I don't know what they're going to look like. But he's definitely going to have some significant problems. And of course, he wants Rudy Giuliani to continue to be his lawyer. How ridiculous is that? Except it looks like Rudy Giuliani may very, very well lose his law license. And frankly, that should have happened about 4 years ago. But, I guess better late than never. So Trump, he's done. He's done with the crazies. The low-class people. Why can't they be better, not look so low-class because they're representing me? Oh, my God. He's off. He's off doing something else. His focus is completely removed. Once he leaves office, he's not going to, in any significant way, try to keep going any sort of a political career. And that is the same for any other members of his family who lived in this like psychedelic fantasy land, that they were somehow going to become a political dynasty or frankly a kingdom. Okay, it's not going to happen. They're toast. Any more that comes out of Trump's mouth is not worth listening to. I mean, not that honestly it's been worth listening to for years now, but anything he says is going to be a diversion or a blame everybody else on the planet but him. So he's got really nothing to say that honestly most people want to hear. But definitely, he is going to have so many legal problems, it's not even funny. And again, remember, with Trump, it's all about the money. That's all it is. That's all it ever was about. What it does is it leaves the United States in a place, and doesn't mean that it isn't a scary place, because it is. But what it does is it leaves the United States in a place where finally there is going to be forward movement in righting some of the wrongs, in trying to correct some of the attitudes, ideas, laws that have been really, really out of step with the desires of most of the people of the United States, the majority of people, whether that is about gun laws or voting rights or, I don't know, term limits for senators. I don't know, whatever it is, but there's going to be changes and they're going to start. Listen, this is not all going to happen overnight with a finger snap, but things are going to really, really move ahead. Judgments are going to be rendered, and ultimately changes are going to happen, and they're going to happen as quickly as they can. And that really does put the United States in a forward momentum towards a victory of finally healing some of the stuff that, frankly, really, really, really needs to be healed. So even though this is horrifying right now, good things are coming. But again, you need to stay focused. You need to stay safe, mindful. And I think that once Biden takes office, there's going to be sort of a flurry, right? There's going to be a flurry of stuff that takes place. The COVID rollout is going to increase dramatically. It's going to make sense. People are finally going to know what's going on. Different states and cities, whatever, towns, are going to be able to actually plan things and get stuff moving forward in an organized way so that those vaccines can be given out. I guess the bottom line is this question. Is the United States actually ready to take a good hard look at what has been allowed to be considered normal or not worth delving into? Have enough sacrifices been made? Have enough people died? Is there enough blood on the streets? Let's make a decision. And let's go forward. And so you shall. And so you shall. Okay, buckle up, people, buckle up. The next 7 days are going to be stressful. They're going to be worrying. I am asking you to please do everything you can to just find some sort of moments of calm and balance. You can't stay in that state, okay? It's okay to get angry and worried and stressed out, but try as best you can to pull yourself back. Because you just don't want to feed that energy. You really, really don't. All right, listen, everybody stay safe, okay? It's going to get better, but I actually want to say 7, 10, even 14 days are going to be a challenge. But you guys are strong, and you're going to rise to the challenge, and you will succeed. Until next time, take care. Be well. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.